Hi, thanks for watching a new video blog. Today from Tallinn, Estonia. 6 years ago, I started to live as a raw carnivore. I have no other words for it to say, but I was already a carnivore, animal-based, but I was cooking my food. I didn't consume a lot of raw meats. And I found out that it's way better to eat raw. For example, the books from Ionis Wonderplanets made sense to me. I had been in Africa many times by that time, and I have seen the Maasai there. I've been on a trip as well where I will meet them, and they explained to me that they only drink blood, eat some raw meat, and they will drink the milk from their goats. And that's how they live. And it made sense to me. Because why would you need to cook food when it's already edible raw? First of all, it saves a lot of work. You don't need to make a fire, risk a lot, because when you make fire, you risk that your environment gets burned down. And yeah, that made sense to me. I started to try to live more like a raw animal-based carnivore, or whatever you want to call it. So I started in the morning drinking raw eggs, and I was starting to eat raw liver, starting to eat raw steak, and I did it in a ratio where I would also cook my meats, and I was just more focused on doing it as much as possible. It's not something that I want to do like a neurosis. I didn't want to be neurotic about it. And also it is, of course, a very strange thing to society, so I didn't want to appear too strange in that regard. But I must say, 6 years later, I feel better than ever. And I don't think I will be as healthy and as good feeling as when I didn't do this, when I was still cooking my food. I would still feel good, but I noticed that when I eat raw foods, raw organs mainly, I feel so much better. And it's just always something that I want to return to. For example, when I fry my foods, do it maybe 1 or 2 times in the week, and then I always feel like the next day, okay, now it's time for my raw meats. They have a nice traditional exposure, how do you say it? Here, nice traditional man in traditional clothing. Cool. So yeah, I must say I'm happy that I discovered or realized that eating raw meat, raw animal based, is the most optimal way of eating. And 6 years, people are asking me, well, did you ever get sick of doing so? And I can say that on a very few occasions I got a little bit sick, and that was mostly when I ate, or I tried, for example, to eat raw, what was it? Raw goat or something. It's common knowledge now for me that goat and sheep are not really the most optimal animals to eat raw, to consume raw, because they come mostly from the situations that I don't know, there was something, the way they are kept, that it's very hard to get it clean. And you have to eat, of course, organic meat when you want to, when you eat raw meat, because that's natural. Anything not organic is not natural. So they will give the animals, the juice, that you also got as a baby and a toddler. And that makes the animals sick and poisoned, and the poison that will come also in the raw meat. So there will be, your body will reject it, and then you will get diarrhea or throw up. But outside of these few times, I've never been sick, ever, from eating raw meat. And I've been eating a lot. Raw brain, raw heart, raw testicle, raw eggs every day, 5 each day, raw milk, raw cheese, raw honey, you name it. And I've eaten it. Yeah, this I have to add, the raw carnivore or raw animal based, you rather can say raw natural. Because indeed I also eat raw honey once at a time. I drink raw milk, which is dairy. Some people argue if that's real natural. But I also eat fruit, raw of course, organic, but only in season, and just a little bit. I don't eat like buckets full of fruits. But 6 years, a raw, natural eating person, raw meat mostly, I feel great. And in no way will I go back to eating the standard diet even, or also not the carnivore diet or the Atkins diet. I was starting with the Atkins diet about 15 or 16 years ago. It was the first like entrance of me in, was more a low carb diet than a natural diet. And I felt already better, and I was losing weight. But of course now I feel much better, much better. And yeah, I forgot I also like oysters a lot. I eat oysters, but also they are raw. Herring, the Dutch eat a lot of herring. Out of that I don't eat a lot of fish, but I forgot to tell that that's also part of the natural diet. Of course, raw fish, but most fish nowadays is so polluted, I wouldn't touch it anymore. So yeah, it's already been 6 years. Maybe you can see like a change also in these 6 years. In my videos you can just easily check it. I see a big difference, mainly my eye. I had more dark eyes back then because of the, the pollution in all that non-organic meat, and also the frying of your meat. Yeah, that's causing your body to want to get rid of the toxins, and that goes in your eye, your skin. You can see it, the dark circles in. I also think my skin has improved a lot. I see that it looks cleaner, in my opinion. My hair also improved a lot, became stronger. When you see it a few years ago, especially, that's true. I didn't make videos back then, but before I even did Atkins, it was also different. It's improved every time I changed my diet in a more natural way. That's what I can say. And I wash my hair only with rye flour, so that's also something you have to remember. But yeah, so for me this is already the 6th year eating raw meat, raw fish. Mostly, because sometimes I do cheat, and sometimes I have some obstipation. I need to eat some grains, just to get my intestines a little bit running. Yeah, because we are here, we cannot hunt animals and kill them freshly. Then it wouldn't happen. Obstipation. It's fortunately mostly because of our meat is too dry, because it's frozen and etc. But yeah, that's the way we. If you live in the West, it's the only way that you can get raw meat is if you buy it when it's frozen and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm experienced now for 6 years. It's incredible, because many people, if you can ask anybody here on the street or whatever you are, and you can say, do you eat 5 raw eggs every day? Practically everybody will say no. And then if you ask what they eat, then they will say like grains or yogurt, some pasteurized dairy is not very healthy. So I do so much better than all these people. My health is so much better, and that is also something that I realize when I look around. Even people that worked in like the best jobs, they also would eat like croissants. They also have their pasteurized yogurt with or soy milk or whatever. So it's incredible to think that I am one of the very few people that live like this. So it's interesting to compare myself to other people, to the normies. Yeah, I am the exception and they are the norm. So yeah, it's interesting, I think, to see how somebody is living off of like raw food for so long. Compare it to the normies. But it's interesting because I see them having so many problems: acne, being overweight, having tooth problems, toothache, losing their teeth, brain fog, outbursts, sleep deprivation, have problems sleeping, or they sleep too long, you name it. And all these things I also used to have before I ate naturally. Like I say, it improved when I did Atkins, but now it's very good. So yeah, it's interesting. I see myself as a study object in that regard, and now I hope I can be an example for other people to also try out natural diet. So that was it for today from Tallinn, Estonia, the beautiful park. I say thank you for watching. Happy to see you next time.